Hello dear students, welcome to our today's class. Today we will discuss a very important chapter of our Buddhist religion and moral education book. Our today's chapter is chapter 8, the councils. The history of Buddhism is closely related with the Buddhist councils. It is not possible to know the real history of Buddhism without the knowledge of the councils. The Buddha did never render his doctrine in the written form. He delivered his teachings in different places in different occasions. His disciples got the teachings by heart and spread them orally. After the great passing away of the Buddha, his disciples held the councils and compiled the teachings of Buddha. Through books and in many other ways, the Mahakaranika Bhikkhus, followers of the true religion, managed to preserve and propagate by holding the councils, and in this way they preserved the purity of the teachings of the Buddha. So, in the history of Buddhism, the role of the councils is unique. In this chapter, we will study about the Buddhist councils. So, our today's lessons are the idea of the councils, the objective and background of the councils, the first council, second council, third council, and the role of Sangiti to compile Buddha's words in the form of a book. Lesson 1. The idea of the councils. Generally, council means meeting or assembly. If there arose any debate or problem regarding the Buddha's religion and philosophy or rules and regulations of the Sangha in the lifetime of Buddha, Buddha himself or his leading disciples, according to his direction, solved it. But after the Mahaparinibbana of Buddha, the wise Bhikkhu Sangha solved these problems by holding meeting or assembly. It is known that after the Mahaparinibbana of Buddha, many important councils were held to solve the questions related to the Buddhism, to decide real sermons of the Buddha, to compile, to preserve, to keep the purity, and to propagate. In the history of Buddhism, this is known as councils. Briefly, council is the highest decision-making meeting or assembly. According to the legend, 9 councils were held. The Buddhists of the Southeast Asia believe that 6 councils are held altogether. Those 6 councils are very important in the history of the Buddhism. The 6 councils has a great role in compiling the sermons and words of Buddha and in preserving them correctly. So these are also called great councils. Objective and background of the councils. The 6 councils were held in different places to compile the sermons and words of Buddha and to preserve them correctly were the main purpose of the councils. But the background of each council was different. Read this lesson by yourself. You can know more about this topic. Now, we will discuss about first 3 great councils. Lesson 3. The first council. The reason of the first council was different comment of Buddha's doctrine by Subhadra and other arrogant monks. After 3 months of the Mahaparinibbana of Buddha, the first council was held at Saptaparni cave, Rajageha. The patron was King Ajatasattu and the president was Mahakashyapa Sthabir. Total number of monks were 500. The duration of this council was 4 months. The preceding is approval of Sutta or the Dhamma, and the result of this council was teaching of Buddha were collected as Dhamma Vinaya. Lesson 4. Second Council. The cause of Second Council was Dashavatthuni by the bhikkhus of Vajji clan. After 100 years of the Mahaparinibbana of Buddha, this council was held at Balukaram, Vaishali. The patron was King Kalashoka. President was Revata Sthuvir. Total number of monks were 700 and duration was 8 months. The proceeding was approval of Sutta or the Dhamma again, and the result was Dasavattu was against Vinaya rules and the collected Buddha words were recited again. Lesson 5. Third Council. The reason of Third Council was disorganization in Sangha and disagreement of original Buddha words. This council was held at the time of the reign of Emperor Ashoka at Pataliputta. The patron was Emperor Ashoka and the president was Moggaliputta Tisha. Total number of monks were 1000 and the duration was 9 months. The proceeding of this council was Vibhajyavada was established as the main doctrine of Buddha, and the result was the words of Buddha was named Tipitaka and divided into 3 parts. Lesson 6. The role of Sangiti to compile Buddha's words in the form of a book. So now we can say that to compile Buddha's words in the form of book, the role of Sangiti is very important, because if the councils were not held, the words of Buddha may have the possibility of being corrupted for many reasons. The sermons and words of Buddha might get lost. The books published in different countries were examined and scrutinized comparatively through this council, and the sermons and the words of Buddha were published in books correctly. We are now getting them easily and can learn. So it can be said that the value of councils is immense in the compilation of the sermons and the words of Buddha in a book. That's all for today. So, here is a question for you. When the words of Buddha was named as Tipitaka? The answer is in Third Council. Dear students, here is a homework for you. Describe about the first, second and third council in a table and write the importance of council in Buddhism. So that's all for today. Hope you got a clear concept about this chapter. See you again in our next class. Stay well and stay with study.